In the name of God, hi to all the students, and I hope to be fine in this day. As you know, in the previous session, we discussed about image processing and analyzing. At first, we review the previous topics, and then we will continue its new topic. At the first, this issue, we familiar with different types of images like ultrasound rather than sonar, thermal imaging, tomography, MRI, digital photos, and computer graphics. Then after that, we discussed about the basic concepts in image processing, like image contrast enhancement, image denoising, image deblurring in painting, and segmentation. Then after that, we started the studying of some basics of mathematical approaches in the image processing, like morphological approaches that we discussed about their opening and closing, and we saw that the opening contains the erosion and dilation, and in contrast the closing contains the dilation and erosion, and each of them has its advantages, and how we can choose them, it depends on our data and it depends on our application. Okay, then after that again we discuss about the Fourier analyzing, but this time we discussed about this method and these types of analysis in the image processing, and then we saw that we can access some usable information in this field. Then now we want to discuss more about a wavelet transformation. In the previous chapter, we discussed about the wavelet transformation, and we know that the wavelet transformation has a different model wavelet, and again, according to the application and data, we can choose good and proper model wavelet. But now we want to study this transformation in the field of image processing. Consider you have an original image, okay? After we applied the discrete wavelet transform, we can access the information in the low frequency and high frequency. It means that the wavelet acts as two filters, low pass filter and high pass filter. Okay, at the first level of the composition, at the first of using of wavelet transformation. Then after that, again on the low passed image, again we can apply another low pass filter and another high pass filter. Okay, then this low pass image decomposed again two images. Okay, and we called it low LL and LH. It means that at first they pass through a low pass filter, and then after that we pass it through low pass filter and high pass filter. Okay, it's like this. The direction and the road is like this, LL and LH. Again, on the high pass image, we applied and employed low pass filter and high pass filter. Okay, then we called it HL and HH. HL means we first pass through high pass and then through another high pass filter. The result of the first filtering, feed to another high pass filter, and also feed to another low pass filter. Okay. Then this is the result of the one-step decomposition. For example, here you see an original image that decomposed only using one-step decomposition. Okay. If you see and if you pay attention to the result of the one-step decomposition, here you see the general information of the image, and it is usual because it passes from to a low pass filter. This here, I clean all this. Here it is related to this area. Okay, and the third part, the remaining parts here is related to here, high, low, and then it is high, low, high, and again it is related to high, high. If you pay attention, all this pink area pass through high, at least high pass filtering. Then they contains more details about the original image, because if your attention, they contains some directions. For example, here that this area is not so observable in these two images. Okay. Then I want to say that according to the original image, we can consider the number of the composition. For example, here is a one-step decomposition. We can continue it to the second level of the composition. The second level of the composition, will be employed on the only LL image. Okay, this LL decomposed to 4 another images. Then again, the LL2, the result of the second level of decomposition, can decompose to another 4 images. Okay, then the point is the next step of decomposition will be employed only on the LL image, because this LL image contains more general information about the original image, and we can continue it to 4th and 5th and 6th level. Okay. For example, if we have this image 1, okay, and if we have another image, we have image 2. Compare image 1 and image 2. This area left, upper left, okay, is a little blurred and the information mixed. And in contrast, in image 2, this image distortion is observable in this area, in right region of the image. Okay, we want to get information, the good and proper information from image 1, and the proper and suitable information from image 2, and then mix this good information to another image. To achieve this goal, we in this application we can use discrete wavelet transform and consider the second level. It is too small, and but I had to minimize the image, but it is the second level, and you can also understand it is related to the second level because of the previous slides. It is like this. It is, consider this. Okay, take photo from this blue area and then compare to it. Then we can easily understand it is related to the second decomposition. Okay, and then again we applied discrete wavelet transformation on image 2 in the second level decomposition. Okay, now we want to have an image fusion of this information from the outcomes of wavelet transformation of image 1 and image 2. Okay, now consider this diagram. Attention to this. Okay, of course this is a schematic, a graphical, general graphical of image fusion methods. And if you pay attention, this square, first, second, and third is related to the first decomposition, but actually we have second level of decomposition, but only we want to understand how the image fusion works. Okay. In first and second, you consider LH from image 1 and LH from image 2. I prefer to draw circle here. Okay. Then between LH of image 8 and LH of image 2, we select the maximum amount value in each pixel. And then after select the maximum value between LH1 and LH2, we put it the maximum value in LH3. Okay. Then we can, and we know this LH1 and LH2 contains the details of each image. In the previous slide, we discussed. Again, consider HH1 and HH2. Okay. Select the maximum value and put the result in HH3. Okay. Similarly, consider HLO1, HLO2. Select the maximum value at each pixel and put the maximum value in HL3. Okay. And as the previous slide, we familiar and we know that the low image contains the general information of image, low 1 and low 2. Then we average at each pixel, we average the intensity and put the average value in LL3. Okay. Then after that, we use the inverse of wavelet transform. Okay, and we reconstruct using this new value to reconstruct the new image. Okay. Like this, similar to this method, they did and they run on these two images, image 1 and image 2, and then finally, using the inverse discrete wavelet transform, they can reconstruct and make this new image. And then you see that this new image is not blurred, and it is obvious and more clear with comparison to image 1 and image 2. Wavelet we can also use for denoising. According to the details, we can remove some details and then only, for example, only consider low and HH, for example, or LH, and reconstruct the new image. Wavelet transformation has many has been used in many applications, and usually it works well. Okay. And another mathematical approach is stochastic modeling. Consider after preprocessing or maybe your original data is like here, like the bar figures in this figure. Okay, then you can consider this the maximum value of in this ball. Okay, and then neglect the minimum value between the green, and feed a model to this bar figures. Okay, or we can consider the average. We can consider the average value. Let me to zoom on it. You can consider the average value of data or the maximum value of a ball, and consider the tolerance around this mean. Okay, then you can fit model to the average with a red diagram, and consider the higher tolerance, the upper value of gray area, and the minimum tolerance to the lower gray region. And then in this new modeling, you have the average value with a specific tolerance around this averaging. It is like if you have child, if one of you have child, or one of your family have child, each baby has a card, and in this card they have some information about the brain development, about the weight of development of each baby. And for example, in that information, and if you also search, you can see it. For example, they say that okay, at first when a baby was born, they have a weight. Then after that, in the first month, they have, for example, at first it is around 3 kilograms. Then after that it is around 5. Then in the second month it is around 7 kilograms. And in this curve you can see, okay, the normal weight for baby, for example, for male baby, for son, it is like this. For example, it is like this. And it also, you can see, of course, for weight they don't decrease. It is like this. At first it is like this. Okay, and then maybe a baby, the weight of a baby at first they is not 3 kilograms. It is around, for example, 2 kilograms. Okay, but we can try to enhance its weight. Okay, and for this type of baby with this weight, the model of rate changing is like this pink. Maybe a baby is around 4 kilograms. Okay, then the rate is like this. The rate of weight changing is like this. Then changing through this area is normal. The best, for example, the best one is blue, but the pink and yellow also is good. Okay, and maybe sometimes we have the real data is like this, for example. Okay, we don't be worried about the rate changes because it is in the normal range. Okay. Another approaches, mathematical approaches, is partial differential equations model. For example, you consider the wolves, okay, and rabbits. Wolves hunt rabbits, but in the rabbit community, they themselves also eat another things. Okay. Anyway, by searching attention in the specific area, in the specific time and temporal duration, the researcher, for example, can achieve two different partial differential or PDE models. For example, they say the rate of rabbit living is equal to alpha multiple to exponential growth minus beta multiplied the number of rabbits that they were gotten or eaten by wolves. And the changes of the number of wolves is equal to the number of rabbits that they were eaten by wolves as food. Okay, but it must minus the competition parameters, competition factors of wolves. Okay. Then, according to a specific application to community, we can model that data, that community by PDE equation. Okay. And we discussed about filtering in the previous chapter, but we again must review it in the field of image processing and said that and discuss about linear filtering for image denoising. For example, one way to enhance and improve the quality of image is denoising of the image. Consider this noisy image. Okay. Then if we transform this image to Fourier environment, to Fourier space, you see, for example, this. Okay. Then after that, if you use a Gaussian filter with a specific parameter, you can access this Fourier space after using Gaussian filter, and then again use the inverse of Fourier transform and access this denoising image. And you see that this image, if you compare image 1 and image 2, you see that the enhancement is obvious in image 2. The enhancement is observable in image 2. And another thing that you can see in this chapter, in this left image figure, they consider different parameters for filtering, and see that the result of Fourier transform information, the result of inverse Fourier transform are different. Okay, for example, maybe according to our application, the image, if we number the images, maybe the image 3 is good for us, and then we can continue the processing on image 3. Maybe sometimes image 2 is better, maybe sometimes image 1 is also good. Okay, but totally it means that I think image 3 is good. Okay, but maybe we want to work on noise, then image 4 also be good. Okay, then according to our desired purpose, to our desired goal, we can select the proper filter and then apply this on the images. Okay, this chapter is finished, and this is related to reference C, part 3, chapter 14. Okay, this is image processing and analyzing. And if we come out, you see all the information in this chapter reviewed in the PowerPoint, and this is again related to image denoising. Then I didn't use this imaging in the PowerPoint. Okay, then first I recommend you you review the PowerPoints, and then you will study this chapter, because then now you can understand which subscribes is more important for our class. Okay. Then thanks for your attention, and if you have any questions, please ask me in our online sessions. Bye and good luck.